The following was recorded in front of a live studio audience at the Studio 21 Podcast Café. This is the United Podcast Network.
If you're building or buying or selling a home, the Real Estate Crew's got news for you at the Real Estate House Party.
With attorney Rick Carter,
Real Estate House Party.
paralegal Kathy Holtshouser,
Real Estate House Party. Come in, have fun.
and comedian Tony V. Now, here's real estate attorney Rick Carter.
Welcome and thanks for joining us here at Real Estate House Party. We told Kathy Holtshouser to take a day off so we could get some work done this week.
Thank God you reminded me, because I was going to look over and go, Kathy, you've changed.
What have you done?
And you only had to tell her once.
So we have with us John Marroni, who was here last
Iceman.
week, of the Iceman, and we didn't completely get through all our topics. A lot of information going out there in the mortgage world, so we figured you'd have you back, right?
Absolutely.
You know,
Yeah.
so we got a lot of good real
And
rock and roll out.
And how do people get a hold of you, John, if they want to?
They can Google me, John Marroni with 2 R's, Marroni.
Yeah.
You got a lot of good reviews on Google.
I do. I checked. What are they?
He's
Up to
good.
124.
Wow.
He's good.
He's
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
He's
you know,
good. You got to ask for that stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
You do.
Yeah,
you do.
I do. I try, and but we figured we'd get you back. Got any rock and roll follow up, or should we just jump right into the refinancing?
Well, no, just a reminder for Tony to acknowledge Stevie Ray Vaughan, Joe Bonamassa, and Gary Moore, of course.
I would
Gary
be
Moore,
remiss.
you got thrown in there.
Oh, he's incredible. When he went like blues and learned how to really slow down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of his songs, he can just make that. He could shred that thing.
I saw the other night. I can't believe we're digressing. This is why Kathy Holtshouser is on strike for the
Yeah.
day. But I saw Bob Dylan at the Newport when he came out and did Electric.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there was always rumors that he got booed.
Oh, yeah.
And in the video, you can hear him.
Yeah.
Loudly getting booed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Well, it was the Newport.
rock,
Folk
folk
festival, yeah.
right.
Yeah.
He comes out with his
But I mean, he knew where it was going. Look, these guys are businessmen too, and it's, when you see it, the tide turning.
Yeah.
You got to look at people like Bowie, who was always on the forefront of whatever, trendy music was happening, and he could do it very well. And those are people who last long. Even the Stones, have been doing it for so long because they
kept
changed.
adapting.
They kept
adapted.
adapting.
Yeah.
Neil Young adapts. All of a sudden, he's into some sort of metal rock and then disco. And, they're all like that.
All right, so I'm going to make a
musicians,
suggestion.
artists.
Anyone who wants to check those 3 out. So Gary Moore.
Gary Moore.
You want to go live? I love you more than ever. Listen to that
right.
one.
Okay.
Joe Bonamassa with Beth Hart.
Yeah.
I'd rather go blind. Listen to that
And
one.
listen to the one with Eric Clapton.
Yep. And then
Further on up the road.
And Stevie Ray
Great song.
Vaughan.
Any of
2
his.
of those. Tin Pan Alley live with Johnny Copeland, or Dirty Pool live up in
Hey,
Montreal.
all right.
all right, thank you. I
that's
thought
it.
we
That's
had
all
a good show today. And,
Yeah, no, that's it. I got to go listen to them now.
All right, I swore I'd get a lot of these questions in.
Yeah, but it is Rocktober, and we do have
It
to
is
do
in
it.
October. So yours is coming out soon.
Acknowledge, yes.
Who's the first one?
No, we've had it. They're coming. Who did I do first? I don't know.
All right, I'll have to go back and check.
We'll check. All right, refinance questions.
Yeah.
So we didn't get through all of them last week. I think we got through.
What's so
one.
funny about
Yeah.
peace, love, and understanding? That's what it was.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
good one.
Oh.
Elvis
right.
Costello.
Because you're doing lyrics.
Yeah. Doing
That's a good one.
lyrics. Yep.
He still plays too.
Oh, yeah.
He's around a lot. So, all right, refinancing.
Yep.
So, should I co-sign for another person?
No.
No. Good answer.
Well, it depends who that person is.
Well, I mean,
Do you trust them?
they have a good
If you
relationship.
well, if it means getting your children out of the house,
Oh, you'd do anything for that.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so that's a
Yeah.
good point. So maybe like a loan, a lease or something like that, and they have to. Well, at least you wouldn't have a loan.
no, you could be
attached to it.
they could be a non-occupant co-signer.
Yeah.
And then
But it does affect your credit if you're co-signing.
it only affects it if on a negative if the mortgage is not paid on time.
Oh, definitely.
So if you do that, and what I would suggest, let's say you did co-sign for your child,
Yeah.
that make sure the payments come out of the child's account for 12 months.
Yeah.
Make sure you're not on that checking account. And then after 12 months, in the mortgage world, if you're the parent co-signing, I no longer have to debt you for that mortgage.
After a year.
After a year.
That's good.
Okay.
That's right.
Separate
Right.
account.
Yeah, it's got to be a separate checking account. Make sure
Yep,
that
yep.
you're not on the account. You can do that with auto loans. Actually, student loans too. It's when they go time to pay back the student loan, just make sure that payments come out of the child's account. And
Yep.
and after 12 months, you no longer have to be debted for the student
Well,
loan.
that's good.
Yeah.
There you go.
So the only time it's negative is if they don't
If
make the
it's you.
payments.
Right.
Right.
All
Because
right.
I've seen that debt ratio wise. I had someone that outstanding student loan balance was $400,000.
That's a
Really?
lot of student
Yeah,
loans.
That's a lot
Sure
of
is.
student loans.
That must have been one
I don't think
smart
any.
kid.
I think there's very few people who have $400,000 worth of smarts.
Yeah.
No.
You know?
No. No.
I mean, there's a couple probably. A
I mean, how
doctor.
long is
or
that going to
something.
take you to pay that
Never.
back?
No.
Right.
Yeah. I mean,
Right.
what kind of a job do you have to have?
Doctors mostly have those type
Yeah,
of
I
loans,
guess, right?
But
Yeah.
they don't get. I mean, it's well down the
Scientists.
road before
Yeah.
they.
Let
really-
me. Here's a hypothetical for you.
Yeah.
If say, and don't tell me how I know this, but say your mortgage is due on the 1st,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you have a 15-day grace period, and somewhere most every month around the 10th or 11th, you go, fuck, I got to pay the mortgage.
Yeah.
And you pay it before the 15 days is up.
Yeah.
Is that, does that get
I know
you?
the answer
Well,
to this.
technically, you're default after day one. However, it's just become so standard.
Yeah.
No one really calls you up on it, and you're not going to get
No one ever calls
They're
this
not.
person up.
No, and
It's
you won't,
always
you won't,
paid.
It says you'll have a late fee after day 15.
Yeah.
It won't be reflected on your credit report till if it was
After
after
30 days, right?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, like legally, you're default after the first day. But
So wait, the bank could come and take your house after if you
well, they
missed
could start sending you notices.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
they probably have bigger problems.
Right.
You know.
But you're right. That's a misnomer.
But they must go back and see that you have a pattern of,
Yeah.
well, he gets it in within the 15.
Yeah.
Or they.
So I think you're right. So from day 1 to day 15, it's usually no big deal. After
Well,
that, it's a late charge.
You know what's crazy about that is when I was at worked for a bank, they would set people up in their ACH accounts.
Yep.
And they gave them the option of what day of the month
Yeah.
for it to come out, all the way up to the 15th. So
there
they were
you
like
go.
setting them up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're already late.
You're already right. You already started late if it's defaulted.
Yeah, I guess
after
they just
the
wanted to
first.
hold something over them.
I had this poor buyer who, first-time home buyer, and she wanted to do automatic withdrawal.
Yeah.
And unfortunately gave him the wrong account number.
Oh, jeez.
4 months later, she's getting foreclosed
Yeah,
on.
yeah.
And she didn't notice that there was an extra $10,000 in her bank. So, one lesson for today: check your account.
Check
number.
your account numbers.
There you go.
Check your balances every now and
Right,
again.
right, right.
Yeah.
Check your
And,
statement.
and when you see an envelope from the bank, open it.
You know, we
Yeah.
did notice that during short sale days, they didn't want to read there.
Nobody wants to
They
know
didn't want to
what's
read
coming.
that. If you get a letter from a bank or an attorney, and you have been making your mortgage payments, that's going in the corner.
Yeah.
Never be read.
You know what I see that trips people up is, you say you have a credit card
Yep.
and they give you the option to go paperless.
Yeah.
So sometimes people have a credit card and they pay the balance down to zero.
Yeah.
And they go on with their life.
Yeah.
Forgetting that card has an annual fee. So
Right.
then the annual fee, they get hit with the fee, whatever it is, even $25.
Right.
Yeah.
That
After 10 years.
now they're not checking it. So
Right.
they owe $25. Month one goes by. You're late. Month two. Next thing you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
I've seen it. 90 days late. The guy's like, "What are you talking about?" And it's like
Right.
the annual fee.
I don't have anything on it.
It kills their credit.
And he's a good creditor because he's already paid the thing down to zero.
Right.
Right.
And,
Right.
That's why I always try to, just get stuff in the mail just so as a reminder, because you got you have all these offers, 0% this, or if you're going to go buy something, well, knock 20% off this item if you take
Yeah.
this credit card
Yeah,
out.
yeah,
and
yeah.
that and all
Oh, I
that.
say no now.
Do you?
Yeah, I don't, because I won't keep track.
Well,
and
that's
I'll
the
be,
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you also should shred all that. Don't just throw it in the trash.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I got a shredder.
You do.
Yeah, for other
You
reasons
should
too.
shred all that stuff because people are nasty these days. People go through your trash. They might see like a a carton, a TV,
Yep.
carton. They say, "Oh, someone just bought
got
a new
TV." Yeah.
There's mail piling up in the mailbox. That means they're
Someone's
away.
not home, yeah.
No one's plowing. I mean, they'll go right through your trash.
Yeah,
And-
nothing says we ain't home than piled up mail.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Or an unplowed driveway in the winter. They've gone away for a few days for Yeah.
I remember about 25 years ago, I was in this little networking group in Boston, and one of the guys in the group, he worked for a paper shredder company.
Yeah.
And then they'd shred it down to like the finest, and he said they met with the FBI and showed them what they had. And it was like real tiny, like everything was all shredded.
Yeah.
The person from the FBI is like, they could put this all together. We want it even more finer.
Really? Wow. Wow.
Someone who's good at jigsaw puzzles, apparently.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, they had that thing in the movie Argo. Do you remember that? Where
they had
shredded
25 people.
Yeah, and they started sticking faces together.
Yeah.
So they
That was a great movie.
That was a good movie.
That was great.
Yeah.
And you're sweating it out. You almost got the picture on that.
By the way, there's a great podcast called The Langley Files.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah,
from
and
Virginia.
and they have now a podcast about the CIA.
Really?
And they talk about that, the real story there. And some of the stuff is riveting. They can only tell you so much, of course.
Right.
They hint at stuff, but it's pretty fascinating.
That was very cool.
If you like that.
It went right through Canada, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Langley File, huh?
Yeah, it's called The Langley Files.
All right. So
I'll check that out.
when you catch up on all the real estate house party.
Check out The Langley
Make that
Files.
out,
You got
Langley.
like a homework assignment. You got about 5 songs we got to listen to. Well, some podcasts.
We're going to be very busy.
We got a lot of busy.
to-
I
Yeah,
had to call the FBI once because we thought we didn't think one of our clients was almost trying to get defrauded through a wire.
Oh,
And the FBI says, well, how much money did they lose? We said nothing.
Nothing. We caught it.
Yeah.
And they said,
They said, well, we don't want to hear about you.
why are you bothering us?
We're dealing with all the other ones.
Nothing happened.
That people lose. Yeah, I
Yeah,
know.
but there's a guy out there. Yeah.
Well, we're not gonna catch you on the way down. Hit rock bottom first, then call us.
Hey, the plane successfully landed.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks for
it's not
calling.
news. I mean-
All right. Refinances, are they more conservative or a little bit more liberal when you're doing a refinance?
It depends on how much equity is in the house.
Okay.
So if there's and the credit. So you're looking at the income. The income,
ICE.
credit, equity.
Oh, that's where we get the idea.
It's not that he's frigid.
Yeah.
He's an easygoing guy.
So income. If the income's good, debt ratio, credit, and equity position in the house. You know what the house appraises at. So if you're at the edge where you have a high debt ratio and your credit scores like in the mid 6s and the maybe 5% equity, you're probably not going to get approved. The system won't approve it.
Okay.
Maybe FHA, but that tends to be a little more expensive for a refi, anyways.
Okay.
Right.
And then on the extreme, perfect credit, anything over 740 in our world is perfect.
Nice.
Debt ratio, anything under 43. We'll go by
43%.
We can go as high as 50, but I'm just saying the perfect parameters.
So what do you mean?
And what's the definition of debt ratio?
Yeah.
So
no, basic.
Just basic.
I think what it is you take.
Yes, I know.
You take how much you owe.
I'm only kidding.
Let me see if I get it.
Yeah,
It's how much you make less what you owe.
divided by
by
So
what
let me
you
go up to the
owe.
whiteboard here.
Okay. Where's the green screen?
It's not on your handout you gave us today.
No, it is. You got that, Tony.
Now we
That's right.
Now we got to get it telestrated.
That's right.
So in other words, if let's say someone's total debt is $3,000 a month,
Right.
and they make 10, so it's 3 divided by 10, so that'd be like a 30% debt ratio.
So then you're okay.
Right. So if someone has perfect credit, I can go as high as a 50 debt ratio. So
Right.
if they owed $5,000 a month was the total
And they
monthly
made
debt
10.
so that'd be 50. And I mean, to me, which they don't really take a look at, I think it's more important about residual income. Because you could have someone with make lots of money and they have a high debt ratio, say at 50, and they could have a couple grand a month residual income, and then you have someone on the lower end that might have a 30 debt ratio, but they might have like $10 left over.
Right.
So it's, to me, I think
But lenders don't really think that logically.
They should.
I know they should.
Because like the people in the jumbo world, loan amounts like over 750. They beat those guys up and they say your debt ratio is going to be
Sometimes
43.
This is not logical.
No.
So if you're buying $1 million house and you're asking for a $300,000 loan, you're never going to get foreclosed on.
Ever. You don't have to underwrite it.
You're right. Right. So why?
It's crazy. And it's just,
when can you waive an appraisal or when do the banks waive that?
So they just run it through the system, and if the system calls for an appraisal waiver,
Okay.
then
How often does that happen on refis?
if someone has a strong, credit score, and the other thing too is if let's say they refinance or that house was refinanced or financed, say with Fannie Mae, and you're going through Fannie Mae, it recognizes the value.
Right.
It's in the database.
Yeah.
Because they've already done it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah. This calls for one of our favorite things in the whole world, which is
FICO score.
go FICO yourself.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
That's the website.
If you find a quiet moment, go FICO yourself.
Yeah, you can FICO yourself all night if you want.
Sure.
You're not penalized at all?
Listen, if you can get someone to FICO for you or with you, it's better.
It is.
But if you have to go FICO yourself,
If you're alone, you can still do this.
you can still do it. Right.
So option A is the perfect one, but if you're not,
Nah,
you can
you-
go with
you can go ahead
alternate
and
B.
fight.
Well, that's where customer support comes in.
That's why they have
So do you
phones.
have,
questions.
you have a phone line you can call for some help with
Yeah, it's a
that?
900.
Hello. May I help you?
You got to call at 2 a.m. though.
What are you wearing? What are you wearing to the closing?
Is that really Jake from Steak Farm?
Oh, God, we can get away with this because Kathy H. is not on the show.
Yes.
She'd be reeling us in right now. What is a loan level price adjustment?
So they pretty much what we were talking about, like the debt ratio. If the debt ratio is higher, or there tends to be a hit on the rate.
Okay.
If the credit
So debt
score
ratio.
if the credit score is lower, there'll be a hit.
How about taking money out? Is that a hit for
Yep,
that?
cash out. That
Cash
could be a
out
hit.
is. How about a condo?
Condo. If it's
That's another one.
the loan to value is above 75.
How about if it's an adjustable?
There's some hits to that.
Wow, a lot of hits going on
A lot
here.
of hits
Yeah.
going on.
Yeah, the hits keep on coming.
It's
Yeah.
greatest hits.
So you start at 7, but then you owe about 12% by that time. All these. How do you get rid of these loan level price adjustments?
So if you're in a low to mod area,
Yeah.
well, nowadays it's like, I'll give you an example: Essex County, Middlesex County. If you're a first-time home buyer and your income's below 160, all those loan level pricings
Are gone?
Gone.
Really?
Yeah. The people that are really not benefiting from all that is people that are doing real well. People making the 200,000.
That's weird. So they're also kind of penalizing those people who want to buy a second home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reason why they're doing that is a lot of people, they felt they really want to push, primary home ownership.
Okay.
And they felt that like the single family second homes, that people were really buying it for investment property, and they were taking away the opportunity to people to get
First home.
Yes. So
Yeah.
so they decided to penalize them.
Yeah.
And they're treating them like investors. They're getting like investor rates.
This is a sad subject for Tony because
Yeah,
we shouldn't. Go ahead.
I'm second homeless.
You second homeless?
I'm second homeless.
What about
It's-
third homeless?
I mean, we shouldn't laugh about it.
I
It's-
know.
it's a
It's a
sensitive-
big thing, and I don't make the. It hurts, but I am among a very
He's a
small
second
group of
homeless
people.
person.
I'm a second homeless person.
So that's you on the beach.
Yeah. that's why I have to rent when I go away.
So that's why I see you lying down on the beach.
Because I have
He's not
no-
getting a tan. He's just
He's
homeless.
I'm second homeless. I have to go to beaches that have hotels.
I know we make light of it, but there is
It's a big problem.
Yeah,
it is.
that no
It
one
is.
talks about the second homeless.
There's fun going to be.
I mean, imagine we live in a world where I really have to think about that. Like, I got a lot of buddies who have second homes. I thought one was the goal,
Yeah, no.
and I got a pretty good
Your
one.
goal is pretty good.
Yeah, I got a pretty good
The one you got.
Hey,
Someone was talking to me about one of our earlier radio shows. They, for some reason, they saw it and they said, "You guys are talking about Tony's house then." And I said, "It's probably tripled since we've."
I got to imagine.
I said, "Yeah."
Although not this week. They're digging up the street, putting in new water pipes.
Oh yeah, it's down to about $300,000
and
now.
it's. I mean, I had like a giant dump truck out in front of my house at 7:00 in the morning.
So what are
They're
they
digging
doing?
trenches.
This,
We have temporary water, and they
okay.
got these spigots on it.
Yeah.
Is it the septic?
No, it's
Literally water.
water thing.
Okay.
And pipes in the gutters, like these plastic pipes
yeah.
for temporary, and now they're putting the rail pipes in,
Yeah.
and then they got to reconnect them and all of that. and then come back in the spring because it's going to become cold, blah, blah, blah. But people keep hitting these spigots, and there's like geysers on the street. It's like a car wash.
You're out
and
there
then we get no water.
That's your entertainment.
Yeah, that's it.
When someone come by.
I see the firemen walking up the street just shaking their head. I go, someone hit another spigot? They go, yeah.
Yeah, that's a temporary water fountain.
Yeah. I go, let the kids run through
Is
it.
there any way they can kind of sequester the thing off where...
They couldn't do more. They're painted orange. There's giant hoses coming out of it, and they put cones.
Oh, yeah.
And people still got to park overnight, and it's taken, I'm going to say, without exaggerating, it's taken out about 20 tires.
Wow.
They're metal couplings with big things.
Right.
And people, all of a sudden you hear, oh!
Like clockwork.
Got him again?
Got him again.
Yeah.
You know where Tony lives, so we won't give the exact location, but we've run it on that Charlestown run.
Right.
Yeah. You guys are usually ahead of me, and Tony's waiting for me to come along saying, you look tired.
He's got the jug of water for you.
Are you sure you want to be doing this?
No one told me those hills in Charlestown.
It's called Bunker Hill.
Yeah, I know. No one told me the hill part of it. No, it's a great location.
Technically, Breeds Hill. The monument,
you're right.
The
That's
monument
right.
is on the top of Breeds Hill.
Yeah.
Bunker Hill is one hill over.
Well, it's Heartbreak Hill for Rick.
Yeah.
It's a possible hill
And,
for Rick.
even back then, many years ago, when they drew up the plans to fortify Bunker Hill, they told the guys where to set up, and then the guys who actually got there going, why are we going 2 hills over and giving them a foothold? We'll just set up here.
So that's Breeds Hill.
That's Breeds Hill. Yeah.
And to the right is where?
If you're coming up my street, to the left.
Oh, to the left.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a big church at the top.
Oh, right.
That's Bunker Hill.
That's really Bunker Hill.
Bunker Hill Street. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Yep.
Do you ever just do any of those tours like the Paul Revere or the?
No, but I do stand out on my stoop smoking a cigar, yelling disclaimers at people. They're lying to you. It never happened that way.
I'll give you the real tour.
Yeah.
When I was working, my office was at the Bell in Hand. They did the tours.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
One time I was talking to Ben Franklin. And Ben told me, I don't even know if it was true. He said, hey, do you know what the Boston Tea Party, what that was all about? I said, yeah, that was a taxation of tea. He goes, no. He goes, a taxation of rum. He goes, they weren't going to throw rum in the harbor.
Do you know about this thing, the Boston Stone, which is right there?
No.
There's a thing. Look it up if you're in the area. It's called the Boston Stone.
Okay.
And it's just it's built into the foundation of a building.
Okay.
And it's just this round cement or carved stone.
What
I don't know
building is
which.
it in?
It's behind the Bell in Hand. Whatever.
Okay.
There's
Oh,
a little
yeah.
alley.
Oh, I know what
there's
you
a
mean.
red.
There's a store.
The
and you
Union
look
Oyster
Right where all the
House.
produce is sold. right there.
Right there.
Oh.
And it's called the Boston Stone. Nobody knows what it's
Really?
from. It's stamped 1775,
Interesting.
and it's just known as
No
the
one knows why.
as
Well,
the
probably
Boston
someone came out of the
Stone.
Green Dragon and just
Probably took a leak on it. Also, not too far from there is the Spite House. There's the world's, America's smallest width-wise.
Really?
Oh, okay, all right.
Where is that at?
It's if you're on Commercial
Because
Street.
I always hear about
Yeah,
it.
if you're on Commercial Street
Yeah.
and there's a park that leads up a hill.
Okay.
It's right there. So when you see the park, you can see it.
Okay.
And what happened was
Right in Boston.
In Boston.
Okay.
In the North End.
Okay.
It borders
Yeah.
the North End. Some property was left to one brother.
Yeah.
With a house, and it had an alleyway in front of it.
Yeah.
And that's the other brother built a house in the
'Cause he didn't
alleyway
get any-
because he didn't get it, and
Yeah,
it
yeah, yeah.
obscured the guy's view of
Yeah.
the harbor of his brother's house. Yeah, and it still stands.
That's one of the original Spite houses.
I think it's 12 feet wide.
No.
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. I think it
Just says
I
that.
I might have that
No,
wrong,
but that's
it's something like that, 12 or 18
just
feet.
to
It's
abuse the
called the
sibling.
Spite House. Yeah,
Yeah.
just to get back at his brother.
Isn't
I'd
that
love to be a
shame?
fly on the wall while that was being built.
Yeah. Yep.
You're really going to do this, huh?
Yeah, Boston's great with history. It's also the same area as the Great Molasses Flood.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and there was
Yeah.
a shipwreck right there in the harbor that
People
is
say they can
commemorated.
still smell
On
the
a hot
molasses.
day, you can smell
Really?
molasses. Yeah, yeah.
I go to Long Beach, and there's beautiful houses. Well, they cottages, but
Yeah.
still very, very picturesque. And there's one house you've been there.
Yeah.
There's one house on the boardwalk that looks like it's from the 1970s. I guess the siblings have always argued about
who gets it. Yeah.
They say, all right, if we don't get it, you're not going to get it. I'm not getting it, you're not going to get it. So it's just sat there.
Wow.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And neither one of them want it, but they don't want to.
well, they both probably want it, but they don't want to give it
the other one.
Say, geez, just take it for a few different weeks
yeah.
or something like that. So, hey, while we're talking about tours, you were telling me the other day you used to do shows with Todd English.
Yeah, Todd English, the restaurateur.
The cook.
Yeah.
Chef. Yeah.
Yeah, he was. We did a couple of shows. He was a guest on a couple of shows I did, and we became friendly back in the day.
Yeah.
And he used to take me to some of these stuffy events to crack them up because he hated how stuffy they were. And as a matter of fact, on
So it's like the stuffy event you did the other day before the Snoo concert, right? That was pretty stuffy.
Yes,
right?
the micro wrestling.
Yeah.
Yes. Bill Burr and I were the ring announcers for.
Is that what they called it? Micro wrestling.
Micro wrestling.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But with Todd English, you would go in there.
So Todd English, he would bring me in to break these things up, and I was with Todd in New York City on September 10th.
Wow.
2001.
Wow.
Oh, what, day before?
Yes, the day before. And we were living the dream. We were at this event at a place called Le Cirque, which was one of the swankiest restaurants. And it was everyone, there was pastry chef of the year. He was getting restaurateur of the year.
Yeah.
And he goes, these events are so awful. So we flew me down to New York with him. We were staying at the W
like
Hotel.
to be that good at comedy where they want you to break up the stuffiness?
And
Oh, yeah,
when
wet-
I told
wet their
you,
palate.
When I told you we were having, I had in the middle of this event,
Yeah.
right, that is the swankiest of the swanky, the kind where they introduce you to the chefs.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
because they cook the milk, there's all these other things.
Yeah.
I had a pizza delivered from Domino's. and I was
How'd that go over?
I had to clear it through Alphonse, the maitre d'.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, if you do this, Alphonse. And there's this guy who had a broomstick so far up his ass that he couldn't bend, So I go, Alphonse, I want to have a pizza delivered in the middle of this event. He goes, very good, sir. I go, it's, he goes, yes, sir, we can take care of that. And he goes, when would you like your pizza delivered? I go, I don't know. It's, I got to. It's comedy. I gotta,
Yeah.
He goes, perhaps you'll wiggle your nose as a sign. I go, all right. I'll just tell you when So I walk away and I go, I'm gonna be damned if I'm gonna let this guy get the best of me. So I go back. I go, Alphonse, I know.
wanted more of a reaction.
Yeah. I go, it's a gag. It's a joke. I know where I am. He goes. Yes, sir. It's very funny.
Yeah, I'm screaming.
He never broke. One.
Anyone who's named Alphonse, you're not going to break. You're not going to break.
We were with Bob Ware.
Oh, really?
Of Grateful Dead. He was giving somebody else the pastry chef award from Chicago.
Really?
And Harold Ramis was there.
Really?
Giving someone from Chicago an award, and I was giving Todd English the award because you could have anybody.
Yeah.
And I was just shitting on everything. and afterwards, the food critic from the New York Times comes up to me. He goes, "You're very funny." I go, "Thanks. That's why I'm here." He goes, "Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to write. You're the biggest asshole I've ever met in the New York Times." I go, "I'd say it just that way." And then we woke up. We had, at the after party at the W Hotel, we had the sommelier wouldn't leave our table. And every time a bottle of wine would come out, Todd would lean over and go, "Somebody could have just bought a car."
Oh,
I
is
go,
that expensive?
he goes, yeah. He goes, that's a $12,000 bottle of rum.
No.
Yeah, I go, oh boy.
Wow. Did you have it?
Yeah, no, I didn't. I wasn't drink. I still don't drink.
Right.
So you weren't drinking out of the bottle.
No.
Right.
Give me that. Why isn't that in a paper bag?
Get me a straw.
I mean, that thing has to breathe for 3
Yeah, and
hours.
then all hell broke
I was going to
loose.
say, we don't have much time left, but how'd you get out of there with unscathed?
Well, I got one of the last rental cars in New York City. There was all
Really?
this mayhem
So this is on the 11th now at this point.
on the 11th,
Right.
and I put on the news in the hotel. I saw
Because they were just
I
announcing
saw the
as
second
saying,
plane.
"Oh, someone made a mistake."
Yeah,
and
yeah.
flew into
Well,
the
that's why I called my wife. I go, some idiot flew
Right,
into the
that's how-
thing.
that's how I heard
And then
it.
the second one happened, and
And
it
they
was
said, "Uh-oh." Yeah.
And so everyone was scrambling. They call up to the room. They go, "We assume you're staying. Airport's closed. The train station's closed." I go, "Don't count on it." And I happened to be a half a block away from a Avis rental
Yep.
car, and I got in line, and at least at this outlet, I was the last car.
Wow.
There were guys, like one guy was going to Chicago, another guy was going to Texas. He goes, "Well, if you ride, I'll split it with you. You drive me to Chicago and then go on to Texas." And people were making deals and stuff. And then I got this car, and
Because you would have been there for weeks.
for weeks, yeah. And I just drove north. You couldn't get out of the city.
Yeah.
But I just kept driving north as far
Right.
as I could, and I finally got on the Taconic Parkway.
Yep.
It took me about 8 hours to get home.
Because in those days, you don't have GPS.
Yeah,
right?
no, it was just new. Cell phones were,
Right,
a
right.
thing. But
Wow.
and mine, they all went dead. you
Oh,
know.
yeah, that's right. Yeah.
And in
Oh, wow.
this is my favorite story. In pure New York fashion, all this stuff is going on, and they get me my car, and they got to bring it down because it's New York. It's in a garage.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
And
the
they pull the
elevator,
car
yeah.
down.
Yeah.
And my car comes down. The guy opens the door, and I hear from behind me, "Oh my God!" And everyone's like that. And he goes, "Did you see that broad? She's gorgeous." And I go, "Yep."
I'm in New York.
Time to go.
You were lucky.
Yeah.
Speaking of time ago, we
Yeah.
got to go. I know, Johnny. We got through another 2 or 3 more. That just
That's
means
fine.
you got to come back
You
on.
got to come
You're gonna
back.
have
It's
to.
always
You know,
a pleasure
so-
to see the
you
Iceman.
know, so,
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
Great.
come back on, and that's it.
That's it.
John Marroni, the Iceman. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having
Tony
me.
V. Always great
Always
to have
fun.
you. So
Always.
thanks for having us here. Thanks for joining us here on the Real Estate House Party. We'll see you next week.
All right.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Café, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.